Alright, hi everybody. Today we're going to be working on our first Python tutorial. So welcome and thanks for coming. So first thing you need to do is launch your Python shell. It's going to give you a little window like this, and the icon should look like this. It should be called IDLE. We'll get to what that means later. And you can download it off of the link I showed in the main page for this series of tutorials, or I'll put it in the video link below. Anyway, so first thing we're going to be doing today is what is Python exactly? I know I told you it's obviously a programming language. It does blah blah blah. Whatever. What does that mean? Okay, so I'm just going to kind of talk and try to go along and understand with me. Okay, Python is a high-level programming language. High level means that the syntax, or the way the language is written, is very, very close to human language, normal English, for lack of a better term. So you might write in Python, print hello world, my name is Steven, and it would print that statement on the screen. Now, while you wouldn't walk around saying, print hello, my name is Steven, what's yours, in real life, it's close enough to like normal English where you can kind of understand the code just by reading it. Anyway, so with that being said, we're just going to get along and I'm going to kind of show you some basic formalities of the tools we're going to be working with. So the first thing you're going to see is the shell. So the shell is pretty much, it's a really cool thing actually. It pretty much allows you to write one line of code and then interpret it and run that piece of code just one line at a time. So it's sort of interactive. So the shell can be used for a lot of different things. One of the main things is a calculator. So I'm going to show you some basic shell calculator operations. So first thing you want to do, I'm going to just expand this one a little longer. First thing is notice that right here it says Python 3.23, which means that this is the Python 3.23 syntax. Syntax is the way the language is written, like I said. Anyway, so I know this all sounds kind of complicated, but it's really not. Okay, so look, 3 times 2. The times symbol is the little star above the grade key. So the interpreter will take this piece of code and will evaluate the statement and then output it on the next line. So it should output 6. There you go. So it's sort of like a normal calculator. You can do 3 minus 2, 3 plus 3, exponent, 3 to the third is double star, 27. You can also use parentheses. So 3 minus 2 plus 5 times, you need to put the star there after every time you want to multiply, I believe, plus 5 times 1 minus 1. So if this evaluates like we normally do in math, it should evaluate to 1. There you go. Okay, so you see, there's all these cool different little features of the interpreter. This isn't really computer science. This is just calculators or whatever. It's like a normal calculator. It's really cool, actually. You can use it for anything. But anyway, let's kind of get to computer science. So normally, the first thing people learn how to do when they're learning a new language or programming, whatever, you first learn how to print "Hello World." It's sort of like a programming tradition, for lack of a better term. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're just going to write print like that. It should turn purple. Then we're going to do open parentheses, and it should give you all these little things right there. Don't worry about that for now, though. We're not going to deal with those right now. And then you're going to write in parentheses, hello, comma, world, exclamation point, and parentheses, and then you're going to end your, end in quotation and parentheses. And I'll explain why you have to put it in parentheses in a second. So press enter, and you should get hello world. There you go. So congratulations, if you've been following along, you have just written your first Python program, or line of code, or whatever. It's awesome. Okay, so just one little quick thing. In case you're gonna obviously screw up. Everyone screws up. It's part of programming. It's a really cool part of programming, actually, because it teaches you to think and everything. But we'll get into that later. So I'm going to type in hello world, the same as I did above, but in case you haven't noticed, there's no parentheses. And let's see what that does. It should give me an error. syntax error, invalid syntax. Okay, so pretty much what the compiler is telling me with that error is telling me that it's invalid syntax because, well, there's no variable. You have to, let me explain. So everything in Python is a character. So everything on your keyboard is a character. So 1, it's character. ASDF, GHKL, and which is the middle, it's the home row on your keyboard. Well, that's not a character because that's not a variable. But if I put it in string, if I put that string of characters into parentheses, into quotation marks, you see it should just print that string of characters. Now, I'm talking about strings and variables and everything, and it might sound kind of confusing, but listen to me. A string is a group of characters put together by a quotation marks. So pretty much, when the browser is, when you say print blah 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 blah, the interpreter, the shell, is looking for a variable, and we don't have a variable. A variable is very simple. In Python, you can pretty much, this is how you would create a variable. So I'm going to say Stephen equals 54321. So after I press enter, the interpreter is going to create a variable called Stephen, and then that variable Stephen is going to have a value of 54321. So there's no output on that. It's just setting a variable. So now if I type Stephen in, print Stephen, it'll print 54321. So when it prints a 54321, I put Stephen into the print statement. You would think that it would print Stephen, my name. But instead, it's going to print the value of its variable, because variables in Python are just like it's like substitution. I could say Stephen. Oh, and capital letters are important, by the way. Stephen plus 1. That should print 54322. There you go. You see in this statement right here, instead of adding Stephen, like the actual word Stephen in 1, it's adding the value of the variable Stephen plus 1. Now, this is interesting. What about if I do the string Stephen, which is just the characters, plus 1? It's going to get an error because you can't add words to numbers. That doesn't make any sense. So it's going to throw an error. So that's a lot of topics right now. We're just going to kind of, just throw stuff out there, throw some terminology, and we'll define it, and we'll get through it later in the course. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll get back to you soon.